Good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brews. Like always, it's your guy Hector, joined by my co-host, Mr. TC Stills. Check out the intro, and we will be right back.
Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's okay. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger. I'm a threat. I'm a gamble with your life, cause you know that it's a bet. You know I ain't letting up, my foot is on your neck. Take my word for it, it's a promise and a threat.
What is up, Yankees universe? What's up? Salute, 3 capital S's. I am your guy Hector, and like always, I am joined by my co-host, Mr. TC Stills. TC, how you feeling this morning, baby?
Well, it's a good morning to be talking with you, but as far as the Yankees go, I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all, and
Same.
I'm sure we're gonna hear it from these guys. We got an open panel today, so
Yes, it's
guys,
open panel Friday.
bring all your venting and all your frustrations here today. We're here for you. Hector, how you doing, man?
We're trying to be positive. That's why we're trying to come with the energy this morning, but it's kind of hard to be positive. It's kind of hard to have the top energy when your team is just letting you down. They are just letting you down. Before we take a deep dive, or before we start this therapy session, let's give a quick shout out to the chat. Our guy, Unpopular Opinions, is in the building. How you doing? Jonathan is in the building, my guy. Emmanuel Morales is in the building. Mr. James Cook, how you feeling? Sunil, our friend Sunil is in the building. Eric Estrada is in the building. The Cali Highway Patrol is on the scene. You know what, Eric Estrada? You get a bow and arrow. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you guys can, please smack that like button. We are at 15 people watching the video right now. We are at 7 likes so far last time I checked. So if you guys can, smack that like button. It helps get our content out to other Yankee fans so we can broaden the horizon of the conversation. But talking about broadening the horizon when it comes to this conversation, we got to talk about it, because when it comes to the Yankees, our offense was silent. Kyle Gibson, a guy who has an ERA that's over 4, he held us to 2 hits over 7 innings. TC, what's your thoughts about the offense and how quiet it was last night?
One word for you: pathetic.
Yes.
It's just reminded me of the early April days when they just can't get anything going, leaving men on base. Our big hitters, Rizzo and Judge, they're doing absolutely nothing. The Orioles, I give them credit. They're good, but their pitching isn't phenomenal. We're making these guys look like Cy Young and Don Drysdale. I mean, come on, this is it's getting crazy. Willie Calhoun, the guy off the bench, he has 2 hits out of the 3. Come on.
It's frustrating because you see Gleyber Torres, he had a few hits as well. I think he had 1 hit last night's game.
3 hits all day yesterday.
It's not upsetting, but it makes you it throws your emotions in a mix, because when Anthony Rizzo and Aaron Judge, when they are quiet, this offense, it's not a threat. When Anthony Rizzo and Aaron Judge, when they aren't hitting on all cylinders, when they aren't hitting home runs, when they aren't getting on base, this offense is not a threat at all. Nope. I feel like the bottom half of that lineup, 7, 8, and 9, are automatic outs. I love the kid Anthony Volpe. This is not we're going to beat up on Anthony Volpe, but Anthony Volpe is going to have to get hot soon. We need Anthony Volpe to string a couple of games in a row, multi-hit games, scoring runs, get a home run here or there. Anthony Volpe. And this, like I said, this is not a we're going to beat up on Anthony Volpe moment. No. But all I'm asking is for Anthony Volpe to have a week of baseball where he helps us win games.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we're 2 months into the season. I know we should be patient with the kid, but
Hmm.
he's definitely pressing out there, and we need it because yeah, like you said, our bottom of our lineup, we got 4 or 5 guys below 200, and that can't happen on a major league team.
No,
It's just a struggle.
definitely not. And Colin, if you look at one of the tweets on the screen, Colleen, big Yankee fan, we have to stay within striking distance. Tampa
Hmm.
may have lost to the Blue Jays 20-1 in Game 2, but they took 3 out of 4. And
Yeah.
it's the wins that matter. Baltimore is the team to watch. The Yankees bats are hot and cold. Can't win a championship that way. And the big question we have, will Stanton make a difference, or
Mm.
does Brian Cashman have to pivot in another direction to help out this struggling offense? I think he does. Whether
Yeah.
we talked about it on yesterday's show, we can't rely, we can't put the season on John Carlos Stanton's back because he hasn't
No.
been there for us. He hasn't been healthy. So we may have to pivot. Brian Cashman may have to pivot to the trade market to bring in a bat for this lineup. But the question is, where is that bat going to come from? And will Brian Cashman cough up the prospects in order to make it happen? It's a 50-50 scenario with that. TC, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. They're in a pickle right now because I mean, we have these prospects that are tearing it up in AAA. They really are. We have Florial, Peraza, Chaparro. These guys are
Florio had
they've
a
been,
grand slam yesterday,
yeah,
even though he
another
struck out
home
3
run. That's like
times.
7 home runs in like 8 games, something like
Yeah,
crazy.
11
Same
home
thing with
runs on the
Peraza.
season as a total.
Yeah, yeah. So these guys are look like they could make a difference.
Hmm.
But I don't think the Yankees are relying on them. I don't think they're going to count on them, and I don't know where Cashman goes as far as getting
Hmm.
another hitter. Uh, I don't know. I mean, he does make these, under the radar moves. Ninja
Hmm.
Cashman. He comes out sometimes when you least expect it. But this team might need something. They need an injection of another bat, so,
Hmm.
an impact bat, because these guys, they go in these slumps. They just look
Yeah.
dead. And what frustrates me is from seeing the comeback victory they had
Yes, a
in the
couple of nights
first
ago.
game. It
Hmm.
gave us all this hope, like, oh, this team's on the, we're going, we're rolling, and then to have a letdown 2 nights ago, and then last night we're back in the
And even
same.
even before that 7th inning, when we was up 5-1, we were
Yeah,
cruising. And it's
right.
like when Baltimore came back in that 7th inning, the whole momentum of the series shifted and switched towards Baltimore.
They let the air out
It
of the.
literally did. We let all of our momentum out of the room. Like TC just said, we let the air out of the bag.
Yep.
And my question, TC, and my question to the fans as well. But before I get to my question, shout out the fans in the chat. KC Funtime is in the building. Our friend Nathan Ramachandra's in the
Hey,
building. He
yes,
said
sir.
he's heading over to Scranton today to cover the Rail Riders. Nathan, you my guy. Keep putting in that hard work. Li Yankee King is in the building.
What's up,
Li, how
Li?
you doing? Jerry Cadile is in
All
the
right.
building. Big time, Jerry. How you doing? Back to my question, right, TC?
Yes, sir.
Because the Yankees, we talked about them waiving or DFAing Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson has a big contract, 25 million. So the Yankees are going to try to milk whatever they can get out of Josh Donaldson. And you understand that the money, you just don't want to eat the money for nothing. But can we afford to go through 2 or 3 weeks of trying to evaluate if Josh Donaldson should stay on this team? Because that's what's it going to be. Josh Donaldson, he's going to get about at least 2, maximum 3 weeks to prove that, I can still hack it up here. I can still contribute at the major league level. I can still help this team. With the way that Tampa Bay has been playing, with the way that we have been chasing Baltimore, just with the way that how tough our division is, do you think the Yankees can afford 2 or 3 weeks of Josh Donaldson trying to figure it out, TC?
No, I don't think so. We've
Mm,
we've evaluated Josh Donaldson over the last year, and the earlier this year, we've seen what he can do. And for Boone to come out and say, "Oh, he's an everyday player," are you kidding me? He's not Juan Soto coming off of an injury. This guy is
Yeah.
washed up. He's
Yeah.
done. He's absolutely done. But apparently they see something. I don't know. They must have some beer goggles on. I don't know I don't know what's going on with these guys.
I don't know, man. Hopefully Brian Cashman is up to date when it comes to his vision test, or maybe he has to go see an eye doctor. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. When it comes to Josh Donaldson, we just got to look at his track record, how he performed in the playoffs, how he performed when he was out there at the beginning of this season, and all signs point that Josh Donaldson just doesn't have it anymore. And I know money is a big factor of if the Yankees are going to keep him or not. And he's going to get that extended 2 to 3 weeks to audition for the team because of the money. Let's all be real. But
Right.
like we just talked about, I don't think the Yankees can afford to waste 2 or 3 weeks trying to wait and see if Josh Donaldson has it. Because you got to think of it. We're going to have Josh Donaldson coming back, who, like I said, is going to get 2 or 3 weeks to figure it out, coming back off an injury and not playing baseball and not really being in baseball activity ever since he went on the IL to begin with. Then we have Giancarlo Stanton, who is another player who's going to need time to get his feet under him so he can figure it out on the base pass, so he can figure it out in the lineup. Can we afford 2 batters coming back off of the injury list, coming back off of the IL, trying to figure it out while simultaneously at the same time we are chasing 2 teams ahead of us in our division?
Honestly, if our bats were hot, I'd be okay with it. I'd be fine with it. Yeah, let's mix them in the lineup and see what happens. But not when this lineup is struggling the way that they are. We can't afford it. We can't afford any more strikeout guys, strikeout or nothing. We can't. We're not producing enough runs. And if they don't hit a home run, they don't score. Again, they did last night. No
Very
home run,
one-dimensional.
no runs.
Very one-dimensional. Very one-dimensional lineup. And like I said, if Judge and Rizzo aren't getting extra base hits, if Judge is not knocking 2 or 3 homers out in a game, it's hard for us to win. Our offense shouldn't just be reliant on Anthony Rizzo and Aaron Judge turning things up. We need everybody else in that lineup to contribute. We need the bottom half of the lineup to contribute. Right. We need Anthony Volpe to catch on fire. Harrison Bader, he was awesome when he came back off of the IL. It was amazing, but he has gone into a close slump. We need everyone to continue. And if people can send out, please, put out an APB. Where is DJ LeMahieu? What has happened to DJ LeMahieu? I'm honestly thinking that DJ LeMahieu is playing with an injury, and he's just trying to be the soldier that the Yankees need because everybody else is on the IL.
I don't know. It's something. I don't know. Age does catch up to you at some point, and his bat is slowed down. He's striking out way too much, and to me, that's a sign of just he can't read the pitches anymore, and he's got slow reaction time, and it's disappointing. And
especially when you're 30, when you're 34, turning 35, when you're about to be 35 in the middle of the season,
other side of 30,
you're on the other side.
Yeah, you're creeping up to 40 years old, and baseball players don't make it in the 40s or late 30s or 40s unless you're Barry Bonds and you doing some deer antler spray and some whatever.
He's eating his Wheaties. He was eating his Wheaties. Let's be honest. Wheaties, it's a building block of pure health. Yeah. Shout out to Ivan Manny in the building. Ivan. How you doing, Ivan? We missed you, my guy. Yeah. It's been a minute. Hope all is well.
Pete's in the chat. There he is.
Petey boy is in the building. Pete, how you doing? But no, getting back to the conversation, it's tough because we don't want to sound like a broken record, right? Because we can sit here, we can complain about this player not performing, about DJ LeMahieu, his talent being sucked away by the Monstars from NBA Jam. We could talk about all of that, right? But ultimately, it's going to come down to Brian Cashman making whatever moves he's going to have to make, right? I know because of the money, they're going to wait about 2 weeks on Josh Donaldson. We probably won't see any moves till about a week or two before the trade deadline. Don't expect anything soon. But when you look at certain players that are performing in the minor leagues, it's tough to like say, oh well, Esteban Florio doesn't deserve an opportunity. When you look at the numbers that he is producing down there at AAA, and then you look at the Yankees numbers that the left fielders are contributing to this team as a whole, it jumped off of a page. Esteban Florio, he's batting .313. He has 11 home runs. He has an on-base percentage that's over 400. You can't tell me that that's not an upgrade over the 200 slash line, the 202 combined batting average between Cabrera and IKF in left field. You can't tell me that Esteban Florio can't match that, if not do better. Because like I said, he's batting .313 in the minor leagues, 11 home runs. He has about 18 extra base hits. He has an on-base percentage of over 400. But then you look at the left field for the Yankees this season, a 202 batting average combined, an on-base percentage of .320 combined. What's up, Cashman? What are you seeing that us fans aren't seeing? Enlighten us to the brilliance of Brian Cashman. Go ahead.
What they need to do, though, is if they're going to bring up Esteban Florio, and this goes for Peraza as well, if they're going to bring him up,
who's hitting
play
350
the
as
guy
well at
every
AAA?
day. Play him every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stop with the IKF, Jake Bowers, Willie Calhoun in left field. Can we get a consistent left fielder in the lineup every day and keep the lineup consistent? If Peraza is up here, the only way is if Gleyber Torres is moved. And at this point, I don't think I want to move Gleyber Torres.
But you can stick Peraza at third base.
Yeah,
Stick him at third base.
Then do it. Yeah, then we have to cut Donaldson, or he rides the bench, because these kids will not thrive if they don't play every day. And that goes for everybody. Nobody can get hot because they're in and out of the lineup, batting first, batting eighth, batting seventh, batting. It's just mind-boggling. I don't know. I don't get it. I hate this inconsistent lineup.
If honestly, it feels like a game of musical chairs at this point when it comes to bringing guys up and just sitting them, not giving them playing time, and throwing out guys out there like Willie Calhoun. And God bless Willie Calhoun. This is not me trying to bash Willie Calhoun, but it should be no reason Willie Calhoun is a DH.
He had 2 of the 3 hits yesterday.
Yeah, even with that, like I said, this is not me just beating up on Willie Calhoun, but Willie Calhoun, since 2021, has been one of the worst baseball players in all of Major League Baseball. Yeah. Right?
He can't play the field.
Mm-hmm.
We got another, a Hicks, unusable guy, really. I mean, we got too many of these guys that alternating DHs. We got to get some athletic. We got to bring some of these guys up.
And it's kind of hard
energy. We need energy
to entertain the conversation of trading Gleyber Torres when has been arguably your third best hitter after Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo. Gleyber Torres has been your third best hitter. Pete brings it up. Problem is, again, are the Yankees going to pay Torres 6, 7, or 8 years? I don't think that. 16, 18, 19 million a pop. I doubt that. I fully doubt that. So if they are going to trade somebody, Gleyber Torres has to be in the conversation. Or do you wait till it's the offseason where you could attach a pick to Gleyber Torres? You could offer him the qualifying offer, and if someone else signs him, you get that draft pick back for Gleyber Torres.
I think it depends on what Cashman can get for him. If we can get a starting pitcher and possible closer for Gleyber Torres, I'm doing it. Right now. Or a left fielder, a starting left fielder.
Yeah.
We have to get something for him. We can't just let him walk and get nothing.
Because if we entertain the scenarios of trading Gleyber Torres and trying to bring somebody up, we could trade Gleyber Torres, pop Peraza in at second base. If not, DJ LeMahieu could be at second base. Right. We need to improve this team. We have too many people, or we have too much depth in the minor leagues not to improve this team. We need a starting left fielder. We need an everyday major league starting left fielder that can add some pop to the lineup. If not, what are you doing? Are you just running out just platoon players left and right just to see what you get because the analytics says it's good? Come on.
Like a tryout. It's like this is spring training. Every day, spring training. This is not. We're in the Major League Baseball season right now. Stop trying out players.
Yeah. And Pete said also Volpe isn't going to. Yeah, I don't believe they're going to send down
No.
Volpe. Could be hitting 120 and they'll still keep him up at the major league level. Yeah, I agree
He'll
with you, Pete. But,
he'll
you
get it.
know, when it comes to Volpe, I'm not that worried or concerned about Anthony Volpe because the power's there, the speed's there. He's still able to steal bases when we need him to steal bases. When he gets hits, he's a difference maker. You could tell that he's a difference maker. When he
has an
gets
impact
on base,
the game.
he has an impact on the game. He can steal you bases. He could extend, or he could that single into a double. He could move from first to third, and that's what we need on this team. We don't need to send him down. Do we need him to go 2 weeks of just solid baseball play and get it on base and being a factor when it comes to the lineup? Absolutely. But when it comes to Volpe, I'm okay with Volpe. It's our left field situation. It's the inconsistency with throwing up at third base. I love DJ LeMahieu. Like I've said it a bunch of times, but if DJ LeMahieu is going to be a 250 hitter with 0 or 5 home runs, he has 5 home runs on the season, but a little bit of power, what value does he bring to you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just I don't know what they at this point. I don't know how they think, really, honestly.
Yeah, let's switch up the conversation just because we're going to have the open panel in about a few minutes. So before the open panel comes up, I want to bring up another conversation before we get into the open panel. But I think this is a good segue. We're going to talk about Aaron Boone. And Aaron Boone, he got tossed out of the game yesterday. If you didn't see Pete's play-by-play coverage of it, please go watch. My guy Pete has turned into a comedic genius over there with his little coverage of Aaron Boone. His love-hate relationship for Aaron Boone, that's our Booney. You can't talk shit about our Boone. That's our Booney. But Aaron Boone, he was ejected for the 4th time this year. When it comes down to Aaron Boone, he has been ejected 30 different times since 2018. That is the most by a manager in the major leagues. What's your take on Aaron Boone? And he was warranted with his frustration. I'm not sure what the backlash is going to be because it kind of seemed like he spat and the umpire took it offensive because he got a big thing of loogie in his mouth. What's your take on Booney, bro?
Yeah, I loved. Props to Pete. I loved what Pete said. He said, "You're." He said, "I wish the spit went in his eye to clear out his eyes, so he could see better." I mean, honestly, that Boone had every right to come out. That umpire was terrible.
Atrocious.
The strike zone was all over the place. He was given the outside corner to the Orioles. Then Yankees couldn't get anything. Every pitch outside they weren't getting. It was all over. And the kid, was he 15 years old? This umpire. I mean, he looked like he just.
He looked like he just got his library card. He just got his library card. That's exactly what that kid looked like.
I don't know where they found this kid. I mean, I don't know. Does he go to school with Halal? I mean, I don't know. I couldn't understand it, but his strike zone was terrible. And the batters, I mean, our hitters couldn't figure out what to swing at. And in the early part of the game, they were clueless. I mean, they were swinging at the high, the outside. So it threw off the momentum, threw off the whole game. That guy, his scorecard has got to be one of the worst. That game was probably the worst umped game I've seen this year. It was terrible.
I am looking
up
his umpire scorecard. I'm looking up his scorecard right now just so we could get his grade. Because if you guys go to umpscorecards.com, it's an independent organization that they rate the each umpire after every game. If my thing would open up, because the internet for some reason.
He puts in the chat. I think he's Moscoso. He's Angel Hernandez's nephew. So I would think so. I think that's
Edwin Moscoso was the umpire from last night. Let's look at his accuracy. Now, when it comes to the umpire scorecard, 97% is where they want major league umpires to be. This manager yesterday, he was at a this umpire yesterday was at a 92.4% accuracy. He got 12,
or like
12 pitches that were wrong. Now, when you say that, it's like, oh, that doesn't seem that much. Normally they want an umpire to get at minimum 5 wrong during a game. That's what MLB
That's
wants it
almost
to be.
3 times the amount.
3 times the amount. Like I said, MLB average for umpires with their games is 97%. That's where they want them to be at 97%. He was at 92.4%. When it comes to the misses, MLB wants the umpire at 5 misses per game. He was at 12. 12.
Ridiculous. I don't know. Does Moscoso mean blind in Spanish? I don't know. Does anyone know?
No, that doesn't mean. It's very similar to moco, which is booger in Spanish.
Okay.
So his name is Edwin Moco for the rest of the stream.
Yeah, man, boogers in his eyes. Yeah,
Moquito,
okay.
Senor
Right.
Moquito. But listen, guys, we got 27 people that are in the building watching right now. If you guys can, please smack that like button. Like Pete said, making a cup of coffee and watching the boys. So if you can smack that like button for your
Cheers
boys, you
Pete.
can help us out tremendously. Cheers to you, Pete. I can't wait. Make sure you guys tune in later on today, 4 p.m. NYY News TV. Get yanked. It's myself and Jigga Man Porto, another episode. Can't wait for that one. Oh, we got our guy, Mr. 19 Con Man, in the building. 19 Con Man, how you doing, my guy? Salute, 3 capital S's. Hope all is well. But fellas, I'm going to throw the link for the open panel into the chat right now, just to let you guys know. It is open panel Fridays. Fridays going forward will be exclusively for the open panel. We're going to start the open panel early, but like always, guys, we got to follow the rules and the terms and services when it comes to YouTube and Twitter. Please, no slurs. Please, if you guys can, please respect one another. If someone else is in the middle of giving a take, let that person finish their take before you jump into it. Because at the end of the day, as much as I love having conversations with you folks, I want to be able to keep this platform. I do not want to have this platform shut down. So guys, be respectful to everybody. Please follow the terms and services when it comes to YouTube and to Twitter, because we're streaming on both right now. Before we jump in, I got to bring in my guy. Hey, yo, Jonathan. Good morning, handsome. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Good morning.
Jonathan, every week it's like, you're switching it up. The light is different. You're looking good. You got a smile on your face.
I try to move things around to have the light better, but
nice. Listen, appreciate you, my guy. Just
to let you know, it's going to be much harder to come on Fridays. Today,
no problem.
It just so happens to be I'm off work, so I can.
Nice.
No problem, Jonathan. I'm gonna need you to shoot me an email or contact me. That way on Thursdays, I can give you the link directly and you could come on Thursdays to have the conversation with me and TC.
I believe I have your cell number that you gave me a while ago.
Oh, yeah. So shoot me a text message and we'll work it out like that. All right, my guy. Before we continue, though, because I got Jonathan here. Hold on, let me remove this real quick.
There is another player I wanted to mention that you haven't.
Go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead. The floor is yours,
up,
brother. The floor is yours before I bring anybody up.
The player I'm looking at his name is Jared Cerna. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
He's in single A. He's a second baseman in single A Tampa. Right now, he's batting .328 with a .399 on-base percentage with 8 home runs and 22 RBIs. So I'm just curious if that's a player that could be either moved quickly or I don't know. I don't know much about him but he's an infielder that looks promising.
Yeah, actually, Cerna is a guy that when we had Nathan on yesterday, Nathan mentioned him. I just remembered it towards the end of it. But yeah, Pete says Cerna is killing it, and Pete will be interviewing him shortly. So guys, make sure you tune into that because Pete Seminati is going to come with the fire. Before we continue, before we bring anybody else up, I got to bring up my guy, Mr. Unpopular Opinion is in the building. Bob, what is good, Brody?
What up? What's up, guys? What's up, chat?
Chilling, my guy. I see you in your nice little setup, dope setup.
I appreciate that.
Gotta always give the love to other content creators that have a nice setup. I appreciate you, my guy. But the floor is yours, Unpopular. What's your take so far on the offense being sluggish? Talk to us off the ledge. Talk us off the ledge, bro.
I mean, Baltimore seems like they just took all the momentum game 2 with that one inning. I'm getting a little tired of the Willie Calhoun, Jake Bowers, IKF experiment, Oswaldo Cabrera. We have a lot of guys in the minor leagues that are actually mashing. Like, I know they want to keep the balance of the lefty righties and stuff like that, but we have so many other options in the minors and even in the market, man. Like, this offense is not as bad as it's been. Or looks the last couple games, and it could honestly just be a bad couple games. But it's concerning going into a game like with San Diego. When you have teams that can really mash with you, and if you're not scoring runs, this next 3 games are going to be really quickly.
Yeah, don't forget we forgot to bring his name up. We have Randy Vasquez, who just got brought up pitching today. So that's not,
you don't know what you're going to get from him.
That's not ideal to start off a series.
Yeah, definitely not. And when it comes to Randy Vasquez, and I'm going to bring him up momentarily so we can have the conversation. Randy Vasquez is a kid that not only will he be making his major league debut, right, in tonight's game against the San Diego Padres, but he's also a kid that yesterday was his first time inside of a major league stadium. He's never been to a major league stadium. That right there, it was amazing when they brought it up. I was blown away when they brought that up. But will that have an effect on him? Pitching in Yankee Stadium, being inside of that environment, 30 to 40,000 fans for the first time. You don't get that in the minor leagues. You'll probably get 3,000 at most down there in Scranton or Somerset, right? So jumping automatically to 30 or 40,000 people pitching behind you, it's going to be a test to see if he can handle it. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Do you think they plan to use Vasquez as a starter or reliever?
They haven't said what's he going to be. I know Meredith Marakovich, she reported yesterday at first that he would be starting, but then they switched it up earlier today. As I saw reports earlier this morning that he will be pitching in the game. They're not sure if he will be starting or they'll have him as a reliever coming out after a starter.
Yeah, according to MLB, it has him as the probable starting pitcher right now. So I don't know. It might change.
Yeah. Guys, we got a few people backstage right now. I'm gonna bring you guys up one at a time. I got Manny back there. I got Casey Funtime. I got Sunil. I got L.I. Yankee King. Before I bring any of you fellas up, I got to bring up a special guest. Mr. Jerry Cadell, first time on the panel. Jerry, how you doing? Big time, Jerry.
Great to see you, Hector. Great job. You and TC.
I appreciate you, Jerry. Listen, TC, he's been telling me about you for the longest. I'm happy to have you on the panel. I appreciate the knowledge that you had, both him and your other son, Casey Funtime. You taught him a lot. You taught him good. But I appreciate you, Jerry, taking time out this morning to jump on the panel.
It's great to be on the air. The thing is, it's a trifecta with the three of us on. So
we gotta like it. And talking about the trifecta, I'm gonna bring up KC right now. Hold on, give me 1 second. I just have my computer is acting funny. 1 second. But KC, there you go. Hey, there's the trifecta that we were talking about. KC, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
I got Ajita.
Yeah,
Ajita.
All right, but Jerry, I'm gonna throw it to you first, Jerry. Right? Let's talk about this team, and I know we got other people backstage that I'm gonna bring up as well. So if you guys can, while you're giving your responses and your take, try to keep it as short as possible so we can move on to everybody else. But Jerry, I'm gonna throw the question your way. When it comes to this team, we've seen the offensive struggles. We've seen the series against Baltimore. What's your take? And do Yankee fans, should we be close to pressing that panic button? Go ahead, Jerry.
Hector, they're very inconsistent. And they let the other team have extra outs. An example yesterday with the pitchers not even handling the ball. Rizzo tries to pitch the ball to them and they drop the ball. I mean, it could have been a disaster.
Too many
mistakes. However, it wasn't. But that day before with 8 runs, I was sick. How you let a team get away with that? It's ridiculous. like I said before, King is the king of the bullpen. Wandy didn't have it last night.
He didn't.
Did you see that pitch go way back over the catcher's head and way over to the left? You could see he wasn't consistent at all. So, and too many changes in the lineup. There's no consistency whatsoever.
Yep.
We got rookies, we got old timers. It's just an inconsistent team.
And then also too, it makes you scratch your head because it's we brought it up with Jimmy Cordero on the game before in game 2 versus Baltimore. 9 times out of 10, you don't mind Jimmy Cordero coming into that situation because we've been comfortable with Jimmy Cordero this entire season. That was a situation he didn't come through in. Wandy Peralta as well. Another situation where we are fine with Wandy Peralta coming into a game 9 times out of 10 because you know what the track record shows with Wandy Peralta. These are 2 guys back to back when it comes to Cordero and both to Wandy Peralta that they just didn't have it. And you can't really blame the team if your relievers just don't come up in that situation when they have been coming up the entire season.
Here's the problem, Hector. Almost every night they have to go use 12 innings for their relievers. You're going to
overburn.
Burn them out.
Yeah. Yesterday was another example of 5 relievers coming out of that bullpen. But I want to throw it to KC real quick before we bring up Manny, Sunil, and LI Yankee King. But KC, what's your thoughts with it when it comes to the bullpen? And I want to throw it back to Jonathan, an unpopular opinion as well. Go ahead, KC.
It's the same thing. They're burnt out. We're already in May, and all the pitchers, the quality pitchers, were being used way too much. And if you can't have starters go past the 4th or 5th inning each time, by the time you get to June, July, dog days of August, you're going to be scrambling. And then on top of that, you have the injuries. So they're digging deep for bullpen help. Hopefully you get some help with Canley coming back, but it's not looking good.
Yeah. Unpopular opinions. Thoughts on the bullpen real quick before I bring up the next guy to the panel and throw it to Jonathan right afterwards. Go ahead, Unpop.
I think they did a great job this season so far. The bullpen overall is just being overused. You know, our starting pitching it's not going the distance they need to. Garrett Cole needs to be going 6-7 every night, and he hasn't. You know, Nestor, with his experience now, you should be expecting him to go 6-7 every night. Yeah, he did it on Friday, but you know, I guess like you run out of gas. And then you have Herman, Smith, and then Brito at a point where all 3 of those guys can't even get into the 5th. So when you have 60% of your starting pitching that can't get into the 5th inning, get any outs into the 5th, you're using your bullpen for what, 12 outs, 16 outs?
Yeah.
Every other day, 3 days in a row, especially how the starting rotation is set up right now. So it really starts with the starting rotation. Like the bullpen has been great. Of course, they're going to have blunders. You're using them too much. It's like a car. If you drive more on the road, you're most likely going to get into an accident. Same thing with the relievers. So it's our starters. They need to go longer.
Yeah, 100%. Jonathan, thoughts on the bullpen real quick before I bring up
the biggest question I have for the bullpen and why hasn't Cook been called up? Cook needs to be called up. They have 2. I have no idea what they're doing. He's been good in AAA for last year and this year. I think last time I looked, his ERA at AAA was around 1.17. I have no idea why he's not in the bullpen today.
He just came back from injury, so I think they're building him up a little bit.
Yeah. I know, but I don't know why he needs to be up in the bullpen within the next week, in my opinion.
Yeah, if there's anybody that's on that express bus from Scranton, it should be Matt Crooks. Go ahead, Jonathan. I'll let you cook.
The 40-man roster, so you don't need to make any specific move for him. You can just send down one of the Weber,
Cabrera, or Andy Vasquez after the start because the option
after today you can send him down and call up Cook. That's what I would do personally.
Yeah, definitely. Hold on, guys, 1 second before we continue the conversation. I gotta bring up our friend Sunil. Sunil, what is good? Michael Sterling and John Kay.
Okay. All right.
So
Hey.
now, what's your thoughts on the bullpen before we continue? Before I bring up the next
Well,
question.
before I answer that, I had to say Preparation Hicks is dead, so I had to come up with something clever.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I've summarized basically what everybody else is saying about bringing up pieces from the minors, but I will also add this. Our current state of the pitching staff, both starting pitching and the bullpen, is attributed to two people. Domingo Herman for his stupidity of peanut butter and jelly on his pants, leading to the suspension.
Yep.
And the trade for Frankie Montas that Brian Cashman did, giving up 3 pieces who we could have legitimately used as long, middle relief guys. If Sears wasn't in the pen, he could have been a middle relief guy. Or maybe he could have been in the rotation and Nestor could have been a middle relief guy. And I've been saying this since last year. Nestor doesn't seem to have the stamina to be a starter. I've raised this concern in multiple forums last year. This was before I got awareness of the Morning Brew and all the other live streams that are out. I've been saying this and facing a lot of pushback on this. It's coming true right now. You guys are seeing it. And last night's game, don't get me started. I never thought I could see a Charlie Chaplin movie in the Bronx.
So now I want to just ask you real quick before we continue. Ken Waldichuk, who we gave up in the Frankie Mont. Do you know what his ERA is right now?
I know their ERAs are basically touchdowns. I know that. But that's
his ERA is 7.40. Ken Waldichuk.
Like I said, touchdowns. Like I said, touchdowns.
Okay. JP Sears, 4.70 ERA.
Okay, so a little bit higher than a field goal.
Hayden Wisniewski, who we traded to Chicago, has an ERA of 5.03.
But do you realize a lot of that is attributed to putrid defenses on those teams? A lot of those things could have been basically attributed to misplays or hits going through a porous infield more porous than Swiss cheese. If you put those guys on with the defense we have, those ERAs probably come down a little. So that 7.40 that Waldichuk had, you'll probably look at something in the mid 4s or 5. Deducting 2 runs. I'm just using a little bit of hypothetical extrapolation here.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's kind of hard for me to lean towards your way when you look at the information, the data that's in front of you, and you quantify it for what it is. And when you quantify those 3 pitchers, they aren't even helping the team that they're with right now. So we could have used them in a deal for a starting left fielder. Yeah, I could hear you for that argument. But as of right now, having them be the saviors of the bullpen or being those middle inning guys, I just don't see it because they aren't even performing on the teams that they are in with no pressure. You got to put that also. There's no pressure pitching in Oakland right now. Ain't no pressure pitching in Chicago right now.
They're probably using duct tape pitching in Oakland for all I care. They're using duct tape everywhere else. I mean,
oh my God.
Let me also add this too.
Go ahead.
You also saw JP Sears pitch well in the Bronx, did you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he? How many runs
it's
did
an
he give
environmental situation. You're in an environment that's highly competitive. You're motivated to succeed.
Did he give up 5 runs and 2 home runs or 3 home runs?
Say who? Say what?
Didn't JP Sears give up 3 home runs and 5 runs?
Pitching in the Bronx?
Yeah. With Oakland this year.
Wasn't that across multiple starts, or was that
No. When
Oakland talking about as a Yankee.
Oh, I'm talking about what he did this year in Yankee Stadium.
When he was this year in Yankee Stadium, well, yeah.
He gave up 3 home runs and 5 runs.
Yeah.
I want to throw it unpopular real quick. Go ahead, Pop.
No, I was just gonna say he did give up 5 runs. I'm looking at the StatCast, and I'm just to be honest with you, JP Sears and Waldichuk, their fastball is getting rocked. They're not deceptive, and they're not doing anything to mitigate any of that hard hitting that they get. It's a lot of barrel on their fastball, which is you can't really do anything else if you can't locate your fastball and you can't get whiffs on that. All the off-speed stuff that comes with it, the complementary stuff, is not going to play either. So they have
Facts.
work to do. But I do think they could have been a help for us on the trade market, not really in the major league level for us. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Pop, and I appreciate that opinion. Great insight and great take. When it comes down to them helping us out in the bullpen, I don't see it, but on the trade market, like unpopular opinions say, definitely. And like Pete just brought up, the Oakland Coliseum, it's a pitching ballpark, right? Because of the big foul territory. So if you can't pitch good inside of the Oakland Coliseum as a pitcher in the American League, it's kind of hard to say that you could pitch in Yankee Stadium, which is more of a hitter-friendly ballpark than the Oakland Coliseum is. Look what happened when Sonny Gray came over. Sonny Gray was used to getting those pop-ups that were turned up to be outs in the foul territory. Same thing like Frankie Montas. They came over to Yankee Stadium. Their ERA was inflated because of the difference between Oakland and Yankee Stadium. But TC, I want to throw it over to you. Because this is a great conversation. I appreciate everybody who's in the building. If you guys can smack that like button as well as we continue the conversation. We got Mr. Sean Browning in the building. Sean, how you doing? TC, I want to throw it over to you because we have Randy Vasquez pitching today. If you were Aaron Boone, or if you were one of the people that makes the decision on who gets to start or not, are you starting Randy Vasquez, or are you going with the Tampa Bay style? It worked for us once, so you know the Yankees are going to do it again. Would you go with the opener approach when it comes to this game?
Honestly, in my opinion, I would go with an opener and then have Randy Vasquez come in maybe second or third inning. It'll ease the kid into the game, not right away, being on the mound first thing in the first inning. Jimmy Cordero did work out as an opener the other day, but they've used him 2 nights in a row. I don't know who they go to. I don't know whether it's Clay Holmes could open, or Weber. God forbid. But I think they could come up with an opener to at least start the game off, just to take the pressure off the kid. Seeing that he's you brought the fact that he hadn't been to a major league game till yesterday. And he's going to be in front of over 40,000 fans, and the spotlight is on you. And pitching in New York is not like pitching in Scranton or any other major league park. And this is big time. So I would I don't know what everyone else thinks. What do you guys think, Jonathan?
Throw it over to Jonathan, then Casey Fun Time. Throw it over to Unpopular Opinion, and then Jerry afterwards. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, I would. Certainly Vasquez, I would probably use him as an opener, see how he does the first time through the lineup, and if he does well, continue him as if he was as a starter. But just don't give the guy any pressure. Try to have good defense behind him and not make stupid errors. And this is the guy's first time in the major league.
Yeah,
make him feel comfortable. And just. No stress.
Yeah, don't try to take him out of his comfort zone. If he's used to coming in at the beginning of the game, don't try to be sexy and have him come into in the third or the fourth, however you want to put it.
Don't take him out if he's pitching well.
Yes, that's a key. If he's pitching well into the fifth or sixth inning, stay with him until we have to pull him out. But just for context, yesterday, 41,520 people at Yankee Stadium. 88% when it comes to capacity. Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah, I agree. If he's used to starting, I would go ahead and start him and see how he goes. But the main concern with him is his control. So if he gets off to a bad start and he starts walking guys, I would have a short leash. This game, this series, you can't get too far of a hole after they already dug themselves out of.
Agreed.
And they're in the race. So Boone's really going to have a short leash, and he's going to have a tough time managing the bullpen with Vasquez if they go with him starting.
Yeah.
Agree. Unpopular opinion, questions going your way, then throw it over to Jerry right afterwards, bro.
In a perfect world, I would want a opener and then let him come in the second inning. But just the bullpen usage, I'm gonna throw this out for you guys. Jimmy Cordero, the last 3 games, 41 pitches. Ron Marinaccio, Last 3 games, 35. Wandy 31, King 31, Brady 27, Holmes 12. We don't have a bullpen right now, so you kind of have to get Vasquez to give you some length. He has to start, and it's just unfortunate. The last 5 days have been as bad as it has, but we're gonna have to ask him to get us through the 6th, no matter what the score is.
Yeah, and you bring up those numbers, and it makes you worry because our bullpen has been taxed heavily. And normally, when you overuse your bullpen, it's a point of the season where that's going to come back to bite you. And right now, it's coming back to bite us in a big way. We had Garrett Cole not even give us 7 innings like Pop pointed out earlier. Nestor Cortez, he was able to pitch us into the 7th inning, but we all know what happened in that game. Jerry, I'm going to throw it over to you. When it comes to today's game against Randy Vasquez, how are you setting it up? Are you going to let him be a traditional starter, or are you going to go with the bullpen arm for the 1st inning and let him come in the 2nd inning?
Like Casey says, I would give him a chance, but put him on a short leash. We're stuck because the bullpen is overtaxed, and we have a major problem. Brito did a great job in his first start, so I'd give Vasquez a chance. I would give him a chance.
It's got good stuff.
He has good stuff, like Pete pointed out in the chat earlier. Shout out to my brother Pete for always coming with the insight. And guys, if you didn't see Pete and the boys over there at nyynewstv, our guys, they got the farm report. Dane and Carlos are killing it. Pete and Dane, they did a breakdown video of Randy Vasquez yesterday. So if you want more insight, make sure you go over to nyynewstv and check out that video that Pete and Dane did yesterday. It was phenomenal. But Pete said Randy Vasquez, his stuff, he sits in the mid-90s with his fastball and cutter, and he has the best curveball in the system. When it comes to Randy's stuff, he has nasty and filthy stuff. Go ahead, Sunil. I'll throw it over to you now.
Yeah, I just want to supplement Pete's take there because when he
well,
shows
it's your turn now. So add on to the question and for what Pete brought up as well. Sunil, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, first I'll address Pete's point.
And you're only allowed to change your name twice in the stream, and this is the 2nd time you change it, so no more name changing, okay?
Wait. So is there a pitch clock for changing names too?
Listen. We all signed a contract, and you're only allowed 2 name changes. All right, buddy. Go ahead.
Well. Let me add one more thing. Sean Browning raised it in the chat. He mentioned that I should use a road vet, reference. So this is it. I'm satisfying his take here. To Pete's point, if you saw the video he made on the on his stream yesterday, the pitching motion and the entire demeanor that Vasquez brings reminds you of 2 guys, Marco Stroman and Luis Severino. If you see the movement on their pitches, that's what it brings up. The other thing I wanted to ask, if anybody knew, how far has Randy Vasquez been stretched out in the minor leagues if he's a starter?
Well, he's been a starter his entire time inside the Yankees organization. Right. He pitched the no-hitter last year in the playoffs for Somerset, so he has experience as a starter. So he is stretched out when it comes to going 6 or 7 innings.
Has he been more of a 6 or 7 inning guy typically in the minor league? Because I haven't watched, so I'm not very familiar. That's why.
Well, with the thing with Randy Vasquez, last year he was you could count on him to give you 6 or 7 innings. This year, when it comes to Scranton, he's been getting blown up. That's why he has a high ERA of almost basically 5. So I'm not sure if he has pitched into the 6th or 7th inning this year with Scranton because of his high ERA. But with Somerset, I know for a fact he's pitched 6 or 7 innings with Somerset last year.
And he's probably been an 80 or 90 pitch guy in those scenarios, I would imagine.
Yeah. So he's stretched out. He can give you 100. Listen, if the game comes down to this, if Randy Vasquez is lit up in the 1st inning, and it's just like that game against Minnesota when we was losing by 9 by the end of the 1st inning, I think Randy Vasquez would be a sacrificial lamb, and he's going to have to eat 5 to 6 innings of giving up a crazy amount of runs. We need that.
I mean, the way to address your initial point, the way our bullpen is taxed, I wouldn't be surprised if we started going with position players from the 2nd inning onwards.
Oh no, IKF.
If the game is out of reach, Sunil, I would take your ass on the mound just to save our bullpen. Just know that, all right?
I would go IKF 2 innings, Volpe for the next 2.
Oh God.
So no, this is not a
How about Higgy? Get Higgy in there.
a beer league softball team. All right, this is not beer league softball. All right,
I know, but wait for the punchline. It's gonna be a dynamite. I promise you.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. So we get after that we get Cabrera for 2/3 of an inning. We get maybe Calhoun to finish that 1/3 remaining. Then the last 2 we can save for Matt Blake and Aaron Boone to be our closer.
Yeah, there you go. That's Sunil version of the old timers day for you guys. If you guys all wanted to know, Jonathan, I seen you got your hand up. You wanted to add something to it before we switch it up?
Well, I'm just curious. What is the future with Trey Sweeney? What is Trey Sweeney's future?
The thing about Trey Sweeney, and great conversation to start. The thing about Trey Sweeney is that I loved him as a prospect for a long time. He's a shortstop that hits from the left-hand side of the plate. You could see him moving to either second base or third base. I do not see him being a major league shortstop. But the issue with a Trey Sweeney is that the Yankees have so many infielders, right? We got Alexander Vargas, who is another young rising prospect who just got named to the 100 prospect list when it comes to Baseball America. So he's a top 100 prospect. Trey Sweeney is not, right? So when it comes to Trey Sweeney, he could be one of those players that the Yankees could use in a trade package to get another player, right? When you look at Trey Sweeney, when you look at what's that other young prospect? I forgot his name, but go ahead, Jonathan.
The other thing is the Yankees have so many infield prospects that I could see them trading a couple of them, such as Sweeney.
We're gonna have to. If the plan is to bring up some of the players that we have already at AAA, if the plan is to bring up an Alexander Vargas, if the plan is to bring up a Jason Dominguez to AAA, there are guys already at AAA that the Yankees got to figure out what they're going to do with them. Are the Yankees going to trade Pereira? Go ahead, Jonathan.
The last thing I would like the Yankees not to do is ignore these guys, lose them in the Rule 5 draft, and then basically give them away for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have some value, trade them for something of value. Don't let them be taken in the Rule 5 draft for nothing. What is it, $50,000 a player?
Yeah. No, I listen. I get your frustration because we're right there with you when it comes to it. Yep. Brian Cashman, look what's going on in Queens.
I mean,
look what the Mets are doing with their young players. They're giving opportunity to Beatty. They're giving opportunity to Vasquez, who has been on fire for the past week. And also, if we guys can, we got to have a moment of silence because this morning, Gary Sanchez was released by the Mets. So his time at the major league level is over yet again. Hopefully, he will be picked up by another major league team. But TC, when it comes to the Yankees' depth in the minor league system, what are you doing? Obviously, Brian Cashman has to trade. I don't want to get into big trade speculations because it's only May 26th. But how are you feeling when it comes to the depth that we have at the minor league level and the lack of using it at the major league level?
Yeah, it's very frustrating because it seems like they would rather go with these retreads like the Calhouns and the Frenchie Corderos and those type guys, Bowers. I mean, you got guys that are capable, that are red hot right now. Bring up that energy and get rid of this moping and nothing's happening with this current lineup. We got to bring up the youth, or we got to get rid of them and put them in a trade. This farting around and oh, he's up, he's down, I don't know what we're gonna do with him. And, oh, he's great, but all this hype, it's hype, and nothing gets done. We got to either bring them up or trade them. There's no in between anymore. And it has to happen fast.
What you're saying is exactly what I just mentioned. You have to use them, or you're going to get rid of them in the Rule 5 draft because someone will find value, just like they did in.
Somebody's phone going.
Whitlock.
Yeah, Whitlock. Right.
Whitlock, and they're going to get rid of Whitlock for basically nothing. If I get that call, I might have to mute
They gave up on Mateo, and he ends up being a star in Baltimore.
But he's only batting 131.
And Whitlock in Red Sox.
But they traded him in the Sonny Gray deal, I believe.
Who you talking about?
Mateo.
Yeah.
Yeah. They gave him. They sent him to Oakland, and then Oakland sent him to San Diego. I'm looking at it right now. When it comes to our infielders, Wilmer Defoe, he's a guy that we got back in the Lucas Licky trade from Atlanta. This is a guy that he has speed, but the issue with Wilmer Defoe is that his hitting. He can't hit it at the major league level, but he does have a lot of speed that he can add on the base paths. Josh Donaldson is starting his rehab stint back with Scranton right now. Andres Chaparro, you guys know how I feel about Andres Chaparro. I definitely would want him up. But Oswald Peraza, what are the Yankees doing with Oswald Peraza? KC, I'll throw it over to you and then to unpopular opinions. What are we doing with Peraza, man? We got to give him an opportunity. He's hitting about 350 down there at Scranton. What are the Yankees doing? Do they not want to bring Peraza up? Because if Peraza starts to excel, if he's excelling at the major league level, you're going to hear the fans arguing that Peraza should be the shortstop and not Anthony Volpe. Exactly. Is that a situation the Yankees are trying to avoid with these two young players? Go ahead, KC, and then throw it over to Pop.
Absolutely, they want to avoid that. The short period of time where the team saw some life and the lineup was producing, I bet you Cashman and Howe were jumping for joy. Mm-hmm. But their team is, like, JC said, inconsistent. They're an inconsistent, streaky team. And when you have hitters in your lineup that are built toward home run or nothing, you're going to go through those streaky, long slumps. So they need to reevaluate their prospects. And I'll get back to your point about Peraza. Peraza is a prospect that is a good hitter. He's not just a defender that people are labeling him as. He is a quality hitter. So he needs to be on the team, and he either needs to be the starting second baseman or starting third baseman. But they're in a limbo period where they got Josh Donaldson, they got LeMahieu, they got Cabrera, they have Glaber at second. They have all these guys, and so they need to either trade Glaber or trade Peraza. Something has to happen. They cannot hold on to these guys too long because the prospects that are developing are now at the level where you got to make a decision.
Mm-hmm. That's
agreed.
One reason why I'm an advocate of trading for Glaber is because they have too many infielders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it's kind of hard to justify that when Gleyber Torres is your third best hitter in your lineup when everybody else is just struggling.
You can utilize that and get some value for him because he's a streaky hitter. Because one day he's gonna sink like a stone, and in a month we're all gonna say, "Why didn't we trade him when he was at the top of his game?"
Mm-hmm. That's also true because it is an up and down roller coaster with Gleb. Matter of fact, it's not a regular up and down roller coaster. If you guys ever been to the Cyclone in Coney Island, that's the type of roller coaster it is with Gleyber Torres. It's just, neck strain and all that. Go ahead, Pop. Same question going your way. When it comes to Peraza, do you think what I said is just conspiratorial? The Yankees they don't want to have him up or be performing because of the chirps and of the conversations between him and Volpe. Go ahead, Pop.
I don't think so. I honestly think because Hal mentioned that he sees Peraza on this team. He says up the middle, but I don't really think the Yankees believe that. I honestly think the Yankees think of him as a third baseman, and if that's the case, there's a problem with after Josh Donaldson, you have DJ LeMahieu, and you have Oswaldo Cabrera. So there's way too many infielders that are non-productive in the current on the 26-man roster. So that could be one of the reasons why he's down there. Just because if they see him as a third baseman and there's 2-3 people in front of you, it's really hard to get you on the roster. My fear is that they're going to end up trading him to get some pitching help, and it's going to backfire on us. The Volpe thing, he's struggling, and he's a young kid, and that's gonna happen. But he does need to start picking it up, though. We're getting to a point where it's enough at bats, it's enough experience that he should be progressing a little bit better with the bat. He can't hit anything. He can't hit off speed pitches. Where he's really making his money's on the fastball, and I think people are starting to realize that, and They're adjusting to him. He needs to adjust. Of course, it's going to happen, but it's sad for what's happening to Peraza because he can really help our team. And if Brian Cashman can get over the mentality of veterans over youth, we can actually start to put together a really good team that, yes, maybe at the beginning, it might not gel well, but give it to July, August, September, you might have guys that are playing really well together. Volpe, Peraza, and it's too many to name, but I'll digress.
There's also one.
Go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead, girl.
One guy we haven't mentioned today, which is Elijah Dunham.
Yes, that's another young Elijah Dunham and Everson Pereira. But I want to bring the conversation back to, because we were talking about our prospects, Peraza, Cabrera, Pereira, Elijah Dunham. But with Josh Donaldson, like I had the conversation earlier with TC, I want your guys' take on this. When it comes to Josh Donaldson, you've seen the reports. Aaron Boone came out saying that he's going to be an everyday starting player when he comes back. Can the Yankees afford, with the way that the division is set up right now, with the Tampa Bay being as good as they are, Baltimore being as good, Toronto on our heels, Boston on our heels, can the Yankees afford having Josh Donaldson out there for 2 or 3 weeks trying to audition or trying to show you that he can still hang at the major league level? Jonathan, I'll start it off with you, then unpopular opinion, then Jerry, then Casey, and then Sunil, and then wrap it up with TC.
No, if it was my choice.
Before you do it, I apologize. Li, I see you backstage. I'm not sure if you're ready to join because it's a question mark on your screen. If you can, just refresh your screen and jump back into the stream. I'm not sure why StreamYard does that sometimes, but go ahead, Jonathan.
No, if it was up to me, I would have put Donaldson on the 60-day IL 3 weeks ago and called up Chaparro. I want Chaparro. I want to see Chaparro, and I think he can add the energy lacking in this lineup.
Okay.
This lineup is almost like a funeral home. Like yesterday, you go there, you see the lineup, you probably go to your kitchen, make your dinner, and it's 3 innings later, just when in 20 minutes.
You're right about that. It does have a funeral home feeling to it. Pop, I'll throw it over to you. Same question going your way. When it comes to how the season is shaping up right now with our division, can we afford giving Josh Donaldson 2 or 3 weeks to show you that he's worth his money? Go ahead, Pop.
I don't think so. You have to think about the games that are coming up right now. You got the Padres for 3, you got the Mariners for 3, the Dodgers for 3. Yeah, we get a little break with the White Sox and the Red Sox, but June is not going to let up with a lot of good teams. We're going to have the Oakland Athletics and the is sprinkled in there, the Cardinals, but we're getting to the bulk of the season where we're starting to see a lot of contenders, and we're seeing them often. And we need production out of third base, left field, and DH. Those are our weakest offensive categories, and we kind of really need to get the ball rolling. I don't see any way justifying what he did last season. He performed just like Hicks, and to be honest with you, he should be DFA'd just like Hicks. Even if you don't want to DFA him, phantom IL him. Paying him to stay home with his kids. I don't care what they do. I honestly think his roster spot is more valuable than his bat.
I definitely agree with you. Just so you guys know a little bit of context, in 72 at-bats with Scranton, Oswald Peraza is batting .333, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, 5 stolen bases with an OPS of .968. Go ahead, Jerry. When it comes to the question of Josh Donaldson, do you think the Yankees can afford giving him the 2 to 3 weeks trying to figure it out? What's your thoughts on that, Jerry?
This man is a strikeout artist, and we have too many of them. Even Stanton, it's going to take him 2 to 3 weeks to get off the ground. This team scares no one. We need a Jose Ramirez at third. We need a Luis Ariz, 371 batting average. He won the batting title last year. These are the guys that get on base and make things happen. I'm really upset, really angry at this team.
Jerry, so speak on it, Jerry. Let them know. Drop the T, Jerry, because I agree with you. When it comes to both those players, those are the type of players that we need. both Flores and Jose Ramirez are both two dynamic bats that if we had them in our lineup, we would not be having this conversation. When it came to Jose Ramirez, the Yankees had an opportunity to trade for Jose Ramirez, but they opted to re-sign DJ LeMahieu instead of trading for Jose Ramirez. And look how that has worked out for us. But Casey, same question going your way, and then throw it over to Ben Royback, aka the Green M&M afterwards.
Yeah, they don't have enough time or patience to wait around for Josh Donaldson. They don't. We can see it in their lineup, their offense. If it was someone that was more productive, I would maybe have time, but and if the lineup was more consistent, but we know what's gonna happen. They're gonna slide JD in. He's gonna play every day, and he's gonna do his 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and hit into a double play. So it's just gonna be that over and over again, and then everyone's gonna be wondering, why is this guy around? How long are you going to stick with him? So no, they don't have, and I think most Yankee fans don't even want to see him come back. They want him to just go away.
I agree.
What you didn't see Sunil? He's starting the Josh Donaldson fan club. What are you talking about, Casey? Go ahead,
Yeah,
Sunil.
watch Donaldson. Yeah, he has some tight ass hamstrings.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
But go ahead, Sunil.
The whole
Same
team
question
does.
going your way. When it comes to over the next 2 or 3 weeks, do you think that the Yankees can afford having Josh Donaldson in that lineup while at the same time trying to fight for their division?
See, Hector, let me put it this way. I've got one vent right here for my AC. I've got another one right there. I don't need my TV being a third AC when I'm watching Yankee games. I mean, Josh Donaldson blows more air more efficiently than my entire central AC system on both levels at my house.
I think Josh Donaldson, if his baseball career is over, I think he could find himself a career in the HVAC industry, just being the guy inside of the AC, swinging your bat so you can make it cold and chill everybody's house.
And one more powerful take, he seriously has got to get rid of that Beavis and Butthead haircut.
You don't like the bow head? You don't like the bow head haircut? What's wrong with you, Sunil?
Hell no.
All right,
at that point, I might as well have just done what I did, shave my head completely bald. I mean, that haircut looks embarrassing for a 40-year-old.
I know we got to just shave it off, Donaldson. At this point, just join the evil side.
I just want to have one quick interjection, Jerry. I hope your Geiger counter was turned off when you were getting angry there. I mean, it sounded like you were ready to pop like a vein or something.
No, we're good. Jerry's fine.
I followed this club since 1956, and I'll tell you, I'm a true Yankee fan, and my boys know it too.
Jerry, I want to ask you before I throw it over to LI Yankee King. We've got rid of Aaron Hicks, and you see with Josh Donaldson. As your time as a Yankee fan since the 50s, have you ever remembered 2 players on this team that was despised as much as those 2 by the fan base?
No, I don't recall that. Let's see. Greg Bird was a good ball player. He had a great swing, but the guy couldn't stay on the ball field. He did have a good swing, but he couldn't stay on the ball field, and that's why the Yankees took so much time with him. And of course, he got booed too. But going back, I don't recall anybody that they really booed.
How about those
Mickey,
rough years, the 60s, late 60s and 70s?
Oh, yeah. Roy White, Horace Clark, Ruben Amaro, Charlie Smith. I mean, household names.
Yeah. But L.I., I want to throw it over to you, L.I., right now. Got to welcome in L.I. Yankee King. Appreciate you jumping on the panel. Sorry about the technical difficulties. But L.I. Yankee King, you are the top heel in the entire Yankees universe. When it comes to Josh Donaldson, can the Yankees afford having his bat in the lineup while the offense struggles for the next 2 or 3 weeks trying to fight for their division? Go ahead, oh wise Jedi, Baby Yoda, you, sir.
Oh, there you are. I was like, speaking of Baby Yoda, he's right there.
Yeah, go ahead, L.I.
JD, from one heel to another, just get a phantom injury.
I can't stand
stub your
guy.
toe or something in AAA. Just hit a wall or something with your hand after you strike out about 3 times.
Slip in the shower.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it, Devin Williams. Don't worry, we'll pay you to just go home and F off. Go, Steve.
So it's fair to say it's fair to say that we all agree that the Yankees, they shouldn't be able to. I don't think they'll survive 2 or 3 weeks, especially with the way that this division is shaped up right now. I don't think they can afford giving Donaldson that much time to try to figure it out, because it's not going to only be Donaldson. It's going to be Giancarlo Stanton. So you may have 2 guys in the lineup that may be automatic outs for you. Just so you guys have some context, when it comes to my friend Andres Chaparro and 173 at-bats at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the man is hitting .260. He has 11 home runs, 31 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. He has an OPS of 832, right? When it comes to Estevan Florial and 134 at-bats with Scranton, he is batting .313, 11 home runs, 25 RBIs, and 10 stolen bases. We know the numbers of Josh Donaldson this season. There should be no reason why Andres Chaparro wouldn't be an upgrade, or the thought of Andres Chaparro wouldn't be an upgrade from what you're getting out of Josh Donaldson. There should be no reason why Estevan Florial should not be an option and should not be a better upgrade than what we have in left field. Like I said, our left fielders are combining for a slash line of a 202 batting average, a 320 on base percentage, and a slugging of barely 400. You cannot tell me Estevan Florial wouldn't be an upgrade over that combination of left field, and Andres Chaparro wouldn't be an upgrade over Josh Donaldson, who's batting less than 200 on the season.
What do you think this team would be like if the Yankees gave Estevan Florial as much of a leeway as they do with Volpe? As much time as they need.
Well, I brought up Estevan Florial's numbers over the past 3 seasons. When you look at it, the most at-bats he's gotten at the major league level was 3 years ago, and that was 37 at-bats in a season. Last year, I think he got 20-something at-bats. I think somebody has a phone ringing right now in the background. Sorry about that. But yeah, Estevan Florial, he got like 20-something at-bats. How are you going to be able to evaluate a young prospect when you're not even giving them 50 at-bats?
You need to give him an everyday playing for a month, and then you'll know what you have.
Yep.
I'll throw it over to TC, then throw it over to unpopular opinions afterwards. When it comes to Estevan Florial, is there something that you think the Yankees know about him that us fans who just look at the numbers don't know about him? Because the only thing that I can point to, and let me know if I'm off base with this, his time in the major leagues, the one thing that I could say is you can judge him on or you could critique him on is that he gets angry very fast. If the umpires call a strike on him and he doesn't think it's a strike, he lets the umpires know how he feels about that. That may be a reason why the Yankees don't want to bring him up to the major leagues, because of his anger issues. TC, what's your thoughts on that? And then throw it over to Pop.
Yeah, it has to be something off the field, attitude-wise, or like you said, he's getting angry at calls, because the guy can play. He's proven it in AAA, and the only way, Hector, this is going to work with the team is they got to give Florial consistent at bats and bring him up and stop the experiments. They need to either cut or send these guys down. Send Willie Calhoun down, Bowers, and I'm going to say it, Oswaldo Cabrera. He needs to figure it out in AAA. We need to bring up Florial and give him the left field position every day. We need to bring up Peraza and give him the third base position every day, either that or second. He has to be in the lineup every day. And the Andres Chaparro experiment could have been used already, but we got Stanton coming back. And honestly, I would have him on the team as well. But these guys have to play every day. Like we've all been saying it. It has to be consistent. They can't be in and out of the lineup, and they can't get a feel, and they can't get hot. And if are the Yankees going to do it? I highly doubt it.
Pop, same question going your way. When it comes to Estevan Florial, do you think that I need to take the aluminum foil off my head for the conspiracy theories? What's your take, Pop?
I don't know. Like Florial's an interesting case because he goes down to the minors and he figures out his launch angle, but then when he comes up to the majors, he just beats the ball into the ground. So I'm not sure if that's just major league pitchers they have his number and they know how to pitch him, or if it's just because he hasn't had enough time to adjust to major league pitching, and he's had tons of time to adjust to minor league pitching. So for me, I would honestly like to give him a shot, but the problem is right now he's not on the 40. So regardless to what, there has to be a corresponding move in order to bring him up. And I don't think the Yankees right now are really in the mindset to say, all right, we're going to take someone off the 40 to give Florial another shot. I wish him the best. I wish that he can get an opportunity to play left field, because I honestly think, him and left, Bader at center, and Judge and right could be something spectacular when it comes to covering balls. Their arms are great. It will be amazing to see. Lefty bat switch hitter is exactly what you want and need right now in this team. I just don't think the Yankees believe in him. And it could be off the field. It could be something about his attitude. Maybe he doesn't mesh well with the guys in the clubhouse. But something is up, and I can't pinpoint it. There's not enough data in the MLB to really speak on it.
Yeah, no, I agree. When you look at the 40-man roster right now, when you look at the outfielders, we got Greg Allen, Harrison Bader, Jack Bowers. I keep saying Jack Bowers, Jake Bowers, Oswald Cabrera, Frenchie Cordero, Aaron Judge, IKF, and Everson Pereira. I think it's safe to say if there was somebody that the Yankees could get rid of when it comes to the 40-man and put Estevan Florial, Frenchie Cordero, right? Because Frenchie Cordero, he is struggling down there at Scranton. It's not like Frenchie Cordero is tearing the ball, or the cover off of the ball down there and Scranton. He's not. So if there was a person that you can see the Yankees swapping out for the 40-man, it would be Frenchie Cordero. When it comes to the infielders, our infielders on the 40-man rosters: Donaldson, DJ, Oswald, Peraza, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, and Anthony Volpe. I don't think it's anybody, any one of those infielders that will get optioned out. When it comes to the catchers, Kyle Higashioka, Ben Vrobeck, Jose Trevino, neither of them are going to get removed off the 40-man roster. So if you have someone to talk about, it is Frenchie Cordero. Jerry, I throw the conversation your way. When it comes to Estevan Florial, what is your takes on the young kid? Do you think he has an attitude issue, and that's why the Yankees aren't bringing him up? What's your take, Jerry?
I'm not sure about his attitude, but he seems to tear it up in the minor leagues. But when he comes up in the majors, he doesn't have it. His batting average is low. He is quick in the field, a great left fielder, but his batting average is very low. And when he's been coming up and down, that's been the situation. I like him, but I don't know about his attitude. I really don't know. He's not a Tim Anderson, which he's got a.
He doesn't get enough ABs in the majors.
I know.
What it is.
I know,
yeah.
But I don't think the Yankees give him enough time, and
then
they send him back down.
Yeah, and when you look at the last two seasons in the minor leagues, last year and this year, last year was his best season in the minors. He hit 283, 15 home runs, 46 RBIs, 39 stolen bases, and he was caught 10 times, right? This year, he has eclipsed those numbers. He is almost up to his career high in home runs in the minor leagues. He had 15 last year. He already has 11 so far this season at Scranton. When it comes to Estevan Florial, it's either the Yankees release him and he goes to another team and he's able to catch on with another team, or like I think all of us would want to see, give him 20 games. Like Crackle Nuts just put in the chat. Salute my guy Crackle Nuts. Give him 20 games and see what it can do. Because the numbers in the minor leagues,
agree.
What we're getting out of left field right now, it's embarrassing what we're getting out of left field. And credit goes to Cabrera and IKF, especially IKF, because IKF, he was literally dead man walking. Us Yankee fans, if we had to put any Yankee on the plank to walk the plank, it was IKF and it was Aaron Hicks. And IKF, he shows you that, listen, if you give him an opportunity, he shows you he gives a damn. At least he hustles. Aaron Hicks wasn't hustling. At least he busts his ass down the line. Aaron Hicks wasn't busting his ass down the line. At least IKF shows you that he cares. But before that, dude, the numbers in left field, that cannot be the starting. Those numbers can't be the numbers of a championship team that has a left fielder that's an everyday MLB player. Those aren't the numbers for that type of player.
Hector, the career stat line for Florial and 54 at bats is lower than what we're getting in left field. So you're going to hear a lot of pushback from the Yankee fan base saying, how do you expect to get better output from a guy whose career average is 185, has 7 runs scored, 3 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, an on-base percentage of 302, slugging 278, OPS 579, and an OPS plus of 65.
He's
Are
never
those
gotten.
MLB stats?
I'm looking at baseballreference.com right now. That's his career in MLB.
No,
Yeah.
it's combined.
Yeah. Now, I'm on
Inconsistent,
baseball.
though.
I'm on Baseball Reference also. When you look at 2022 last year,
Yeah.
he was only up here for 17 games. They
Sure.
only gave him 35 at bats. When you go
2
up
at-bats
to
a game, yeah.
2021, he was up here for 11 games. He was only got he only got 25 at bats. When you go up to 2021, 2020 with the team. 2021. Sorry apologize about that. 11 games, 25 at bats. When you go up to 2020 with the Yankees, he was brought up for one game with 3 at bats. He's not being given consistent at bats in the minor leagues to prove that he can hack it at the major league level. KC, I'll throw it over to you and then throw it over to LI Yankee King. Shout out to my guy Dane Cuber in the chat as well. Go ahead, KC.
So here's the thing about Florial. I don't know if there's a conspiracy why they don't want him, but the problem I see is the Yankees were patient with him. He was a top prospect. He was the #1 prospect for years. They missed the boat on him. He was trade rumored. Yankees held on to him. They missed the boat on trades. Now that he's kind of resurrecting his career and proving himself in the minors, if they're not going to call him up to utilize him on the roster, they need to trade him. Trade him for someone that they can use, because it seems like they don't, he could be batting 500 and they're not going to call him up. So it doesn't matter. I think they're done with Florial for whatever reason. They need to trade him, put him in a package, get a pitcher, whatever it may be.
No, I agree. I'm not sure if he farted in the direction of Brian Cashman, and that's the reason why he's not up here at the major league level. LI Yankee King, you have been somebody who's been champion for Estevan Florial ever since last year. What's your take? What should the Yankees do, LI?
They should play him, because right now I was on Fangraphs during the stream. I looked at the slash line of the left fielders currently.
Go ahead, read it off. Read the numbers, because I know it's a 202 batting average. Go ahead, read it off.
Oh, it was on Fangraphs like earlier, and I seen 193, 260, 303 with the WRC plus of let's see, got to go up in the chat. The WRC plus must be better. Nope, it's 56.
Yeah.
It's
That
a
was going into
50
last night's game. They had a 202 batting average.
And now that's way down into the 193s with a 56 weighted runs created plus. For the fans that don't like Florial for some odd reason because they don't give him a chance, I'm going to explain to you what happens when Florial is called up. He gets called up, sits for 5 games, starts, pitch runs, sits for 7 games, starts, sits for 5 games, starts, sits for 3 games, starts, sent down.
And you remember last year, right? Great take, Li, when it comes to that. But also last year, he was only up here whenever we had double headers. They were calling him up for double headers so he could be in the second part of the double header. And then they had him only for a defensive replacement. So he wasn't really given an opportunity with the Yankees for an extended period of time. Not at all.
He didn't play at all.
Guys, we're getting close to that time. It's 12:28 right now. We're going to do a rapid around the panel real quick just to get everybody's last take on the team. What should happen tonight? I'm going to start it off with unpopular opinion. Give me your take, my guy. What's your view? How are you viewing this game tonight versus San Diego? What do you think are the keys for the Yankees to win tonight? Go ahead, Pop.
Win. That should be the only thing we should be thinking about right now. And it starts with starting pitching. You gotta hope the kid can give you 5 solid, maybe get you into the 6th, and it's just simple, man. We gotta win games. That's it. You gotta beat the teams in front of you. Doesn't matter what's going on, injuries, pitch, bullpen usage, whatever. We gotta win.
Jonathan, same question going your way. What is the keys for tonight's victory? And then throw it over to KC. I'm gonna save Jerry for last because it was Jerry's first time on the panel today, so I'll have him close it out for us. But go ahead, Jonathan, and throw it over to KC, then Sunil and Li.
I think the hitters at the plate need to have better plate discipline. Wait for the good pitches to hit, and don't chase balls out of the strike zone. And they need to they need to have good pitching from Cole today. I believe
Vasquez.
Vasquez. Cole's tomorrow.
Yeah, Cole's tomorrow.
I must have fast forward the screen to tomorrow.
Yeah, in the future, bro. Give me the lotto numbers.
Vasquez and good plate discipline.
Stay in the present, McFly.
Yeah, copy. KC, same question going your way. What's the keys for tonight? Then throw it over to Sunil, then Li, then TC.
I think it's obvious. It's Vasquez. If he's going to start, he could set the tone. If his control stays intact, then it might be a good game. But the bats do need to come alive. I mean, they've been pretty quiet, and if they can start early and give him some support early, that would be huge.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Sunil, same question going your way. Then throw it over to Li, TC, and then Jerry's for us to close it out.
So for a quick 10 seconds first, before I address that, it's a pleasure to see all three, TC, Jerry, and KC together.
Yes, it is.
And then back to the game tonight. Well, if only we could have LA Yankee Kings stunt double out of the pen, Ian Jabot. That would be helpful. But I think Vasquez, I have good expectations from him. I always have positive expectations out of my team. It's just disappointing to see. Vasquez, I think, is going to be a 5-inning guy tonight. Probably a line of like 3 or 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 or 6 Ks, because he does have the stuff like Pete and many others said.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I see what you're saying. LI Yankee King, same question going your way, my guy. When it comes to tonight's game, what's your keys to the victory and how you feeling for tonight?
Hopefully Vasquez can throw off that star-studded Padres lineup with Soto, Machado, Tatis. Hopefully he can throw them off. They haven't seen much of him in the majors. I know they're smart players, probably looking at his tape in the minors. Hopefully they can get him off. Hopefully it's like, okay, it's a Yankee rookie. Let's tee off. It's a rookie. Let's tee off. Let's get back into the NL. Let's get back into the NL West. Let's tee off on this rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they're overjealous, swinging and missing, chasing pitches, getting out of their zones, getting out of their rhythms, getting out of the Yankees' favorite word, the process. Getting out of their process, and hopefully we can get Vasquez into maybe the 6th. But I'm only expecting 5.
Copy.
The Yankees process is nothing but an overused Cuisinart. And to LI Yankee King's point about Machado, he's on the IL, so we don't have to worry about him tonight.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But also too, another great point from my brother Pete. Jerickson Profar is another miss. He's batting .333 over the last 15 games. He's a switch hitter who's only getting paid $7 million this season, and he doesn't strike out. That would have definitely been a great option for us to have, especially in left field. He doesn't strike out, and he has some speed. Pop, you wanted to add something to that one?
But we gave IKF $6 million. So I'm just saying $1 million more. We could actually had a productive outfielder.
Yeah.
Way to throw some salt on the wound, my guy.
TC, and it would have been a stopgap for Dom.
Definitely. TC, same question going your way. We got Don Sicario in the chat. My guy, Don Sicario, how you doing? TC, same question going your way, and then throw it over to Jerry to close us out.
Yeah, I got 3 keys to the game today. The 3 keys are we need to start off fast. We can't wait for home runs. We got to manufacture some early runs for the kid, take some pressure off him. Number 2 is we have to tighten up the defense. We can't give up extra outs, especially with this kid, young guy being on the mound. It's going to rattle him. He's going to have extra outs to work with. That can't happen. Got to tighten that up. Number 3, I hope best case scenario, Randy Vasquez goes at least 5 innings. Best case 6. But if he can give us that, because the bullpen again is overworked, and we can't afford to empty out this bullpen early in the series. There's no way.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. Jerry, again, first time on the panel. Appreciate you taking time out this morning. Always love your insight in the chat. But Jerry, since it is your first time here, we got a ritual. First time on the panel, you always got to close out the show. So close out the show for the fine people in the chat. Jerry, what's your thoughts on tonight's game and how you feeling?
Okay, if San Diego played anything like they did last night, sloppy baseball, we have a chance. With a team like that, they're like 23-27. They should have a better record than that. And here's my dream. Randy Arozarena in left field and bring Mariano Rivera back in the bullpen.
Okay.
I'm dreaming. Boy, I'll tell you. What a difference it would make.
Yeah, you know, it's Yankee fans got spoiled for years having Mariano coming out in the ninth inning to close out every games. Life without Mariano Rivera hasn't been the same. Yeah, I don't think that will help out Clay Holmes. I don't think
one pitch, and they couldn't hit it.
Nah, definitely. But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you, fellas, for jumping on the open panel. My guy, Jonathan, Unpopular Opinion, L.I. Yankee King, Green M&M, KC Funtime, Jerry, it was a pleasure. TC, like always, I love rocking out with you. Fellas in the chat, people in the chat that are watching, smack that like button if you haven't smacked that like button. But like always, let's go Yankees, and peace out. Deuces.